Hi, everyone. My name is Valerie Friedlander, and I'm your host for Motherhood Unlimited, the #1 summit for moms who want it all. Welcome, and thank you for joining us. It is our mission to take the limits off motherhood and empower moms to have it all for their own unique and vibrant life. We believe that when moms learn to create where, who, and how they want to be, their happiness and overall life satisfaction increases, and they become inspired and inspirational for their children and each other. Today, we are talking about incorporating a healthy lifestyle into family life. Our expert is Cathy Hallihan. I invited her to share with you because of her work helping moms to get fit and feel fabulous. Thank you so much, Cathy, for being here with me today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So before we get started, let me tell you all a little bit about Cathy. Cathy has had a strong interest in wellness, exercise, and health her entire life. She began her health career as a group exercise instructor with Valley Total Fitness in January of 1997. Within a year, she was assistant area group exercise supervisor of the Chicagoland market. She also became a certified personal trainer and has been working with a wide variety of populations since 2001. Cathy has presented to the Girl Scouts of America, OMD Worldwide in Chicago, and was a continuing education presenter for Valley's nationally recognized group exercise primary certification. Cathy has been part of several news segments, taught a regularly televised exercise show, and even did a 10-game stint announcing for the former World Series champions Chicago White Sox. You can tell I haven't been in Chicago all that long. That would have rolled off my tongue if I was like a native Chicagoan. She has been with Northwestern Medicine since April of 2007, where she regularly presents and teaches specialty fitness and wellness classes. She is thrilled to be using her expertise with the beautiful ladies at Flirty Girl Fitness. Cathy is bilingual in Spanish and continues to be one of the most sought after exercise specialists in the city. Well, I am so excited to talk with you today, Cathy, because I definitely could use what you have to offer. But just to start off, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you and what your journey has been to taking the limits off of motherhood?
Sure. Well, I started off before fitness in corporate America, so I definitely understand you corporate America moms. Although I was a vice president of a bank at one point, and I had always done fitness on the side and slowly switched gears into getting into that full time. And as I did that and knew that I would want a little one myself, I have a 7-year-old son right now. I got into perinatal work, dealing with women from preconception all the way to, I deal with older adults as well. And it's not easy. It's not easy being a mom. It's not easy being a dad. So how can we make it as easy, fun, healthy, and balanced as possible? Because we all need health and wellness in our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I've been noticing a lot recently, if mom's not happy, ain't nobody happy. And then if other people aren't happy and mom gets unhappy, it just makes it that much worse. So tell us a little bit, I would love to know, what are some tips that you have for the busy moms to be able to fit exercise and being, healthy in our bodies into this busy mom life that we have?
Sure, sure. I mean, there's several different things so that you can choose what is right for you. Like one thing that I personally like to do and I do recommend is waking up before the kids. I know it's not always fun, they're up early, but start with 15 minutes and 30 minutes and build your way up to an hour. Because when you're waking up with them and you have a screaming child or whatever it is, and you're running around, it just starts your day off in a way that's less peaceful and calming. So the first thing I know that I like to do is to start my day with like basic meditation, intention, and just get myself set up. Now, if you also want to squeeze your workout in that first thing in the morning and you're able to, whether that's you have a supportive partner where you can, go outside and get your workout done outside, whether that is you actually go off to a gym wonderful. Or if you want something that is, relatively quiet, that'll work for you or your kids, and you have a small space, I keep a small trampoline right in my living room. Son can use it. I can use it. The downstairs cannot hear it. It's very shock absorbent. So that's another little nice thing too. For the ladies who do like to use a club, which is awesome, I teach at some clubs. If you have a kids section, great. Bring the kids with you. The kids are a little bit older and they're willing to do their homework. You go get your workout in. You pick up the homework, eat. So everybody has to find what works for them. The most important thing, though, is to have it scheduled. Because if you think, I'll get there, and you don't actually put it in, you probably won't get there. So have it scheduled like anything else. You'd schedule a business meeting. You'd schedule to get your kids from school. Schedule a time for yourself to get in that healthy workout.
Yeah, that's so true. That's one of the things that I'm personally working on, is like being a little bit more scheduled and putting down even the fun stuff. Because if I don't put down the fun stuff, I end up being so go that I don't take time for it. Like, I make sure to put my husband in there too, date night. So I don't schedule a date night. It just doesn't happen. So yeah, actually scheduling. And I love the idea, of getting up earlier, but like scheduling that. Because if I don't put it down and make a commitment to it, then it's so much less likely I'll do it. So when it comes to some easy fitness that we can do, Joe, we woke up in the morning, we got up early, maybe I know sometimes I'll try and meditate in the morning, and if I lie there and think I'm going to meditate, it ends up being like me hitting snooze because I just go right back to sleep. So what are some things that we could do first thing in the morning to really energize our bodies?
Sure. Well, first of all, when you meditate, if it's first thing in the morning and you're like, I'm going to meditate lying in the bed or lying on the floor, you might fall back asleep. So I would recommend more of a still sit. So that way you're sitting in the same spot, and don't sit somewhere that you would normally take a nap. Sit somewhere that this is like the spot where I'm going to sit, whether it be sitting on the floor, sitting, on the couch, sitting in a kitchen chair, and literally closing your eyes, or, just bringing yourself centered and thinking of your attention. Some of the other simple things that you can do, as I said, the trampoline, a moving yoga, whether that's a hatha or vinyasa. You can do Pilates. These are things that don't require any equipment. If you're not sure what to do, you can either get a DVD, or they even have the For Dummies book. You can find yoga and Pilates for dummies. A nice other thing that's inexpensive are resistance bands. Resistance bands are, you can get them at Target, you can get them at Marshall's, you can get them online through Spry or Power Systems. They don't take up much room, and you can get some additional resistance training. As I said, if you have that supportive partner, you can get outside, whether that be for a walk, whether that be for a jog, whether that be for a run, whether that means your interval. Maybe you're a couch to 5K person, and so you run for 2 blocks, you walk for 1. You run for 2 blocks, you walk for 1. Now, there are also things that you can do with your children. Now, obviously, when you're getting up before them, that's not going to be the case, but don't feel like, well, she talked about the gym, she talked about getting outside, how am I going to do this, and I really can't do it unless I have my children? Great. Then schedule time in the evening and do family bike rides, do family walks. When you send your kids to the park and they're playing on the jungle gym, bring those light bands with you, or do some basic calisthenics. Any movement is better than no movement. Some exercise better than no exercise.
Definitely. I see so many parents, and I can't say I'm not completely like not part of this, but like out at the playground watching the kids and then, looking at the phone or whatever. And, but then I've taken the times where I'll walk around the perimeter while they're playing. Just walk around, or now my son has gotten into this thing where he wants me to play the monster underneath the slide. And so that's like my exercise. like to play the monster, because you know you do it once and then they want you to do it like all the time.
Absolutely. And if it's not crowded, obviously if it's crowded, you know, you don't want to be hogging up the jungle gym space. But if it's not crowded, all that stuff is just as good for the parents as it is for the adults. Climb, walk, run, all that's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So what about times where, like, what I guess getting into that routine, what do you recommend for somebody who's kind of struggling? Like, okay, so I want to schedule myself in, but it's been a while since I really had a routine going. What would you say I should start off with?
Well, start small and add on, you know. A lot of us, and I don't know, you know, if this is a Mars Venus thing, but I definitely see that like women are like, oh, well, I didn't get it right, so forget it, you know? And it's like, start small. You didn't go from 0 to 100, you know? So don't feel like you're going to go from 0 fitness to 5 days a week. You know, start with 1 or 2. Start with 15 or 20 minutes, not a full hour. And then decide from there. One of the wonderful basic principles in exercises called the FIT principle. FITT. Frequency, intensity, time, type. So those are all the 4 things that you can adjust, so you can decide based off of your schedule what works best for you. If you start off 2 days a week, 20 minutes at a time, for some people they say, well, now let me add 3, now let me add 4. For some people they say, nope, those other days are packed, so now let me turn it into 30 minutes, let me turn it into 40 minutes. Or let me make this workout a little harder than what it used to be. So you have options to decide what works best for you. And what you have to do is be honest with yourself. Don't worry about perfection. Don't worry about the airbrush models in the magazines. Think about yourself. Be grateful for the things that you have and slowly add on to that.
I love that, because that is the hard part of like, I want to jump in and have it now. Like, I want it all right now to do, you know, an hour of intense running and then feel fabulous. And usually when it's been a while, that's actually not the case. I feel less fabulous and then I kind of crap out, basically. So I love that you're talking about just taking the small steps into it, because I actually feel better when I've done that. So what about, what are some like main areas that you notice that women really struggle with in terms of their physical bodies, and where they could use the most support in terms of focus? You know, because like if I have to pick, what am I going to do? You know, should I be doing cardio? Should I be doing weights? Should I be working my arms? I feel like my arms get a lot of workout right now, you know, picking the kids. But, you know, my butt, my tummy, you know, those are the areas that we put a lot of focus on in society. Where's a great place for someone to start?
Well, there's biology and then there's you know. So biology-wise, of course, anybody who I can encourage to do resistance training, I would. The facts there are by the age of 35, you start already decreasing in bone density, and women are more prone to osteoporosis and osteopenia. So if you can do resistance training, fantastic. But here's also reality check. If you absolutely hate resistance training and you're never going to do it, and you love walking outside, or you love taking a Zumba class, or you love doing yoga, and you will do that because you love it, well, then you need to do what you're going to do. Who cares if it's not the perfect, ideal thing? Now, if you can compromise, let's say the thing that you like about walking is being outside and in nature. Well, maybe you walk with the resistance band around your neck. walk a couple blocks to whatever the nearest park is. If you're a city person, they're all over the place. If you're not a city person, then find a spot. There's always somewhere. Do some resistance, walk back. So you have to be realistic with yourself. You know, the ideal, we want we want everything. Oh, what should I do? Well, resistance training is really critical. Of course, everybody needs to work their heart. Most people want to lose some fat, which is going to come from, being at a lower end of the cardio state. Most people want some peace and serenity and to be centered, and you get all of that within yoga. You're getting strength and balance and time for meditation. Oh, my core, so I should do Pilates. And we have the I should, and you have a list of 500 different exercises you should do, and right now you're doing 0. Well, let's pick one, and pick the one that sounds most appealing to you, because it's probably the one you're going to follow through on. And then as you add that, if you can expand. Now, with the things that you don't like to do, but you know that you really should do, if you want to work that brain, don't think about what you don't like to do. Think about the pleasure of the results of what you're doing. So, for example, I have run several marathons and several halves, so people go, "You're a runner." And I'm like, not really. There are people who are like runners and they love to run. And like that's the thing, like, woo, I'm running. For me, I'm not like, oh my gosh, I love to run. You know what I love? I love being outside. I love that time to think. I love the way my body feels when I'm done. If I told you I love the actual run, that would be false. I love the other thing. So rather than thinking about like, oh, I'm going to lift my legs up this, how many miles I'm going to go, I think about the end result. So, start off with the one that you love, because that'll be the one that's easier to get yourself into the habit. And then if you want to add something else in that you need, but you don't love, think about what you're going to love about the end result rather than what it is that you're a little bit more hesitant about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you said something really important just now that I absolutely appreciated. And it was thinking about what it is that I like about it.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole idea, what appeals to me about that particular activity? Because maybe there's a way that I can use whatever it is in the other thing. So even taking it beyond just what can I appreciate about that thing, but like, how do I get creative and mix and match a little bit? And so like for me, I love being outside, but it's hard for me to run on concrete. So like the sidewalks and stuff. So if I can say, take a walk and do the exercise band, like you're talking about, that sounds so much more appealing to me. It takes out the pain part. And then maybe, or I could walk to like a track and do my run on the track, and then and do, maybe some weight stuff while I walk or something, so incorporate the different things. So I love that, getting creative with really thinking about what is it about that excites me, rather than what it is that I'm really like, all right, I'm going to get through this because yeah. And because I'm going to have that ass. Excuse me. But, so yeah, absolutely. I love that. So one of the things that you really focus on is having that healthy lifestyle with the family. And you talked a little bit about how can you incorporate that as a parent, with your kid. I'd love to hear how do you believe that this has impacted your kid, or like how could we as parents, maybe some of us I know there's a lot of people with small kids, but setting that example and helping them be healthier too. We live such sedentary lives in the US, at least, in several other countries, and we want to encourage our kids to exercise and do fun things. What would you say to someone who's looking to support their kid in that?
Sure. A lot of that is being the example and doing it together. If you constantly want to push your kid into more activity, but you don't do any activity in your life, what is a realistic expectation? Monkey see, monkey do. And even though they might make different choices later, most people revert back to whatever it is from early on. So if we start as a family as early as possible, getting that movement, as I said, you can do family walks, you can do family runs. My kid ran a 5K with me this past spring. It was his choice. I was, just expecting him to do the kids' dash. He goes, no, Mom, I want to do all 5K. And we did it as run walk. We ran for a bit, we walked for a bit. We ran for a bit, we walked for a bit. We do keep that trampoline in the house. My son is very high energy, and so I want him to be able to have that focus at school. So, if he eats, goes on the trampoline a bit, burns off some energy. Now, I'm fortunate. Most days we are able to walk to school. We're close enough to. But if you're not close enough and you have to drive, you want to burn off some energy. If you don't have a trampoline, have them, squats, walking lunge, whatever it is, but do it with them. Do it together. Do those family bike rides together. In the city of Chicago, if you're a Chicago City person, the pools are free. And even if you're outside of there, they're usually pretty reasonable. I was raised in Park Ridge outside of the city. You could get a pass for the whole summer for a reasonable rate. Go together. Do it together.
Yeah, I love the trampoline idea, partly because I am constantly trying to get my kids not to jump on the bed, and they think it's so funny to jump on the bed singing "No More Monkeys Jumping on the Bed," and I'm like, yes, you are going to fall off and crack your head open. I even asked the doctor to tell them, and still they just think it's funny. So yeah, I'm definitely need to break out with the trampoline. And the idea of engaging them somehow. My son was watching some of the Olympics with us, my 5-year-old, my 2-year-old, but I don't know how much he processes, but my son is now really into running because of Usain Bolt and watching him run. And he's like, I'm going to be him, except for the US. So to really capitalize on that, I love that idea of taking the walks and encouraging that, maybe supporting myself in getting out by doing that too.
Absolutely.
So what are some other things as far as supporting a family? I know you do all areas of health and wellness and doing a lot of fitness and stuff, but supporting that healthy lifestyle in my family, you said setting the example, and then the movement and stuff. What are some other things that you would really recommend moms pay attention to in keeping that family healthy dynamic?
Sure. I mean, definitely everything's a mindset, from the healthy nutrition. And again, if you're somebody who, your kid's a picky eater, you want to get it more well-rounded, just remind them, taste buds change, reintroduce things here or there. And there are ways to separate out. Maybe one child's only willing to put noodles on the butter, or butter on the noodles, excuse me. Obviously, not the most.
Noodles on the butter. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. For
my 2-year-old keeps calling it cheese. I'm like, it's not cheese. We don't eat it like cheese.
Right. So you do that for them, and for yourself, you go with the basic red sauce. Make sure that, you're getting in protein. Find some way to get in vegetables. If your kid is absolutely anti-vegetable, a lot of times it's a basic sensory thing. So sometimes if you just mush it up, grate it, Cuisinart, whatever you're going to do. Spend time together. Your sit for yourself in the morning is going to be longer because you're an adult and you have more self-control than a child. But teaching them that principle, maybe you sit for 2 minutes and say, hey, before we do homework, let's just sit, let's clear our mind, and share all these things with them. Okay, now it's family movement time. We're all going to go bike ride, or we're all going to go, rollerblade, or they still make roller skates if your kid's afraid of rollerblades. Find something that you can all do together. But it's basic mindset, basic scheduling, And also let them know the benefits. If you sit for a minute before you do homework, I just want to take a minute so that we have better concentration of the homework. If we do this, we'll get it done faster, and then you'll have more time to play. Let them see the benefit of what they're doing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that you have talked about before, and that I loved and wanted to have you share here, is that we were talking about time management and fitting in these healthy activities. A lot of us moms get busy, or we're on, even at the minimum, like we're on a road trip or something and we need to grab quick food. I hate saying fast food, but fast food, whatever. And we really, kind of beat ourselves up over that. Oh God, I'm taking him to McDonald's. What am I doing? Would you speak a little bit to that and how we can, one, kick the guilt on on that
Right.
one, and be a good example, even though we have times where we need to do something faster?
Sure. Everybody has those moments. I've taken my kid to McDonald's. I mean, sometimes it's a matter of quickness. Sometimes it's he really wants it. And sometimes it's the middle of winter and we need somewhere to play and run around. We'll go to the playland. Now, I know some people are like, I'd never do that. Different strokes for different folks. I'm one of those people that if you never expose yourself to germs, when you're exposed, you're going to get sick. I do some contract work at the hospital, and there's no more sick people than there are at the hospital. So to me, exposure builds up immunity, but each person is allowed to make their own choices. And with fast food, we're all human. You do the best you can. Now, there are better and other variations depending on what you have going on, but there's also, the humanness of life. So, for example, if your kids are willing to eat Wendy's, and even if they're eating something more junk food wise, for you, you'll have better options with like the grilled chicken there and the chili. But yeah, if you're at McDonald's every once in a blue moon, write it off. And for mom, you can order a kid's meal too, rather than eating the Big Mac supersize. So you can find some way to have balance in your life. And the other thing is to pick and choose your battles. So if like today's going to be a McDonald's day, well, then make the rest of your choices really, really good to offset. And go, oh, well, today's going to be a McDonald's day, so I just might as well throw in the towel on everything. Life is about balance in every way. And don't worry about perfection. Nobody needs to be perfect. We just try and be the best version of ourselves.
Yeah. And every moment's different. That's so important for me to remember, that every moment's different. And I've actually heard a study about, like, if we beat ourselves up too much over something, we don't appreciate it. So like if it was like a craving or something, then and we eat it, but we beat ourselves up over it, and so we don't enjoy it, we actually crave it more or sooner or whatever. And I would imagine that kids are probably the same way. If we like make a big thing out of it, oh, this is so bad, and just like, this is just something we do every once in a while. And
It teaches them moderation. If you never, ever, ever allow them to have anything less than like 100% organic whole raw food, and that's great for those people who do that. I'm not downing you. I'm saying 2 thumbs up, good for you. But you have to remember that that kid might go to college and people are eating whatever they want. And they're like, wow, I've never had this. I've never had that. And then they go to the other end of the spectrum. Or the other thing is also, there's a lot of GI sensitivities now. And part of it is if you never, ever, ever, ever have something, and then all of a sudden your body has to digest it, it doesn't know what to do. So everything in moderation is not always, a bad thing. It teaches you a little bit of self-discipline, a little bit of reward, and, a little bit of reality. If one day is so overbooked that that's your day that you need to get quick food, if you can vary it up and not always do McDonald's, great. Sometimes maybe you get noodles and company, or sometimes you get Chipotle or whatever it is. But if every Monday is McDonald's day because Monday's crazy and it's one day out of the week and the other 6 days are good, stop beating yourself up.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, we were actually, when we became parents, one of those families that were kind of like, oh, what are we going to do? Like when they go over to a friend's house and if their friend is like eating all the junk food and stuff. And then we became parents and we're like, yeah, that happens. Like,
Yeah.
and you know, it's just kind of finding what works for us as a family and not stressing ourselves or our kids out about it. I love how you keep talking about that mindset of like, what's really important to you in each moment. And sometimes it is time. It is saving a little bit of extra time. And that's what's really important right then, because I'll have more time to go do something else that takes a higher priority, like, you know, sitting with my kid and playing trains or playing on the playground. So I can actually get to the playground if I grab a quick bite or whatever it is. So yeah, I love that. Thank you.
Well, it's important, you know, life is not apples and oranges, you know. Think of the whole myriad of produce. Well, that's the way it is with family. That's the way it is with healthy lifestyle. And so there is no one right, one ideal thing. It's what works for you and your family. If you're making yourself all, you know, raw, organic, working out every day, family this every day, but then you walk around like a stressed out, anxiety ridden person and you're not even happy at all, is that the life that you really want to live? You know, to me, everything's about balance. It's give and take. We do the best we can and just be grateful for everything.
Awesome. Yeah. And it changes every day, you know, and that's the fun part. And it makes it a little bit more interesting every day, but yeah, absolutely. So we are just about at our time. What are, just to recap for the audience, what are like let's go with 2 or 3 things that you would really love for the people listening and watching to take away from this interview?
Sure. Well, since we're all parents, I really strongly recommend that, you know, get up a little bit earlier in the day. It will change your day. The first couple times might be rough, you know, little by little, but if you're not already that person who gets up and takes a little me time, it is so much different to have a little me time and have your day set versus everything last minute. So I definitely recommend that. Take a little me time first thing in the morning, whatever that is to you. 2, schedule it out. Schedule time for whether it's your workout while the kids are being active, your workout while the kids are with your partner, or doing everything together as a family workout, but schedule that time. And then 3, you know, don't beat yourself up about perfect. Just be happy with where you're at and work on the progress. Celebrate your goals every time that you hit a goal. You know, if you went from 0 days a week to 1 day a week, excellent. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to celebrate with a brownie. Just celebrate hugging your children, whatever it is that works for you. And each notch that you add on with the personal accomplishment, whether that be in health and wellness, whether that be another area of your life, take that time and enjoy it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cathy. And I believe that you have a free gift to share with the audience. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Valerie will link you into one of my websites, but my phone number is on there, and I will give it to you now. You can have a free phone consultation with me, about 15 to 20 minutes. You can talk about whatever your personal goal is, whether it's for you or for family. 312-671-0272. Again, 312-671-0272. We can talk about your history, your goal, what's reasonable, and get you up and running.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Cathy. And as a reminder to everyone, as Cathy just said, the email that you were sent with this video that links you to where you can access the video, you will also be able to access her contact info, the link to take you to her site for contact info and scheduling that session. So thank you, everyone. This concludes today's interview of Motherhood Unlimited, and I am so glad you joined us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another exciting, inspirational, and helpful interview from Motherhood Unlimited, and I look forward to having you all with us. All right, take care. Bye.